You can reach any of our guests at 888-298-KKNW. That's 888-298-5569, and we will get to your questions at the end of the show. You know, if you went to the Mariners game, we had talked on Friday. I've been lightly discussing the atrocity that it was for a professional sporting event. And, you know, a lot of times things that you don't expect, unexpected things can come up. And, you know, sometimes it takes people with a lot of experience and professionalism to kind of get you through those humps. Clint Schlotfeldt joins us, owner and principal of the New Home Team, who can successfully boast the completion of over 40 new construction plots in Snohomish and is consistently ranked in the top 1% of agents in the entire company. Well, first of all, welcome. How are you?
Glad to be here. Thank you.
We're happy to have you here.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. So, Clint, you know, you'd mentioned a little bit about this new construction, and you guys take a little bit of a different approach to new construction because you maybe take a little bit out of the builder's hand, it sounds like.
We do. We realized there was a need in the market for especially small to medium-sized builders several years ago. A lot of the large corporate builders have staffs with interior designers and design consultants that work to be able to create the communities that eventually people want to purchase. The smaller to medium-sized builders didn't have that. They were basically guessing as far as what light fixtures or what colors to paint. And honestly, I mean, there's some pretty hideous communities out there, or homes, based on some really indecisive things. So we have an interior designer that works with us. We have design consultants that help through the process, and we just try to eliminate some of those mistakes.
And that really then puts, I guess, what it sounds like to me is when you start taking it more from what a buyer wants rather than what a builder wants to build. Is that?
Exactly. We learn a lot. Every buyer that goes through a community, we have the site agent really ask and probe a lot of questions to try to determine, do they like the size of the bathroom? Do they hate the size of the bedroom? And those eventually are put back into the design of the houses. So we're trying to recreate what the buyers are wanting. Just recently now, we have now, two things that we've changed this last year is the handle pulls on cabinets. Everybody seems that's kind of the new trend, so we've added that. And the other thing is
with the two, so it has two prong.
Well, no, we didn't have any before, so now everybody wants. That's kind of the new trend.
Got it.
The second thing is an iPod docking station or a charging station for your cell phone. So inside a cabinet in a kitchen, you open it up and there'll be like 4 plug-ins. So that's the newest thing that we've now created because everybody wants a place to stuff the cell phones and iPods and a charging station.
So it's, I mean, you guys have a pretty good feedback loop from your customers to the builders. It
Correct.
Sounds like.
Yeah, we eliminate a lot of that by just going directly to the source, and then we put it into the design ourselves.
Sure. And so who are the builders that you're working with then?
Right now we work with Seattle Pacific Homes. They're stationed out of Everett. We've got North Coast Homes, who's stationed out of Seattle, and we've got Reliant Homes, who's stationed out of Everett.
So you have 3 builders out there, and you know you had talked about the supply is dwindling. I mean, right? And your builders are out there. They're selling what they're building.
Correct. We're actually selling faster than we can build now. All of the new communities that we've started, we're typically in the last 2 years, we've built, we start construction, we list the houses, we wait until the model's complete, and then sales start to, and then they ramp up as you go through. Now, community we listed, two communities we listed 2 weeks ago, we're looking at 5 offers coming in, and we don't have the model done. I mean, that's not something we've seen. We've seen constant price increasing over the last, and really 21 days for most of the new construction out there.
And it's selling even with the increased price.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Is that common to sell a house without even a model done? I mean,
it was in 06. You know, in 06 and 07, yeah, we had pre-sale marketing parties and we'd set up a little site trailer and people would line up. But we haven't seen that up until 2 weeks ago. We haven't seen it.
Weren't there some places they do a lottery to see who could buy the house?
Yeah, we were there. Everybody'd flip us. And they were the first one to buy. They'd be the first to flip.
Oh, man, it's wild. So we're here with Clint Schlotfeldt, owner and principal of the New Home Team. Talk a little bit about where we're at in as it comes to supply and demand.
Okay, we've tracked supply over the last. A lot of what we do is trying to decide how many units and absorb. We call it absorption. How many units we can absorb into the market per month. So every marketplace is unique. So you know, we work predominantly in Snohomish County. So the absorption in Granite Falls versus downtown Bothell is going to be extremely different. But if you took Snohomish County as a whole, for example, 6 months ago we had
not a lot more inventory than we have now. That's for sure.
Yeah, we did. Countywide, we had 3,500 houses on the market. Today we have 2,100. And at the rate of sales of 1,350, we have about a 1.6 months of supply. So that's from Snohomish County. That's also incorporating areas like Granite Falls that sell a little slower versus the ones in Bothell.
And so when people, the builders who are out there, they must see this and just think, okay, we're going to build more houses. But, I mean, land isn't infinite.
Correct. And actually land supply, right now there's about 1,800 lots. There's 2,500 lots left in Snohomish County. About 700 of those you could arguably say are unbuildable. So we've got about 1,800 lots left. And with a burn rate of about 250 units a month, you can do the math pretty quick and realize that we're going to run out of inventory in about 6 to 7 months. At that point, there is virtually no lots left to build in Snohomish County. The amount of resale that's coming back, the bank foreclosures, they're not feeding the market fast enough. I mean, we're kind of actually scared about what's going to happen.
I was just going to say, what are you going to do for work, Clint?
You know, we're thinking high-rise condos down in
Marysville. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Beautiful views of Everett, the whole nine, right?
I mean, we may be there.
Clint, tell me a little bit more about, I mean, if that is really the land shortage, what does that really mean?
Well, you know, that's hard to say.
Outside of high-rises in Marysville.
You know, we really don't know. I mean, honestly, we've all been trying to figure out what that is. A lot of people have been trying to get back into land acquisition so that we can get through the development process so we can start developing land again. The two things are the problem is the land prices are way down. The cost of developing sometimes, like in Marysville, will exceed the actual value of the lot. So it'll cost $70,000 to bring a lot to market. The lot's only worth $60,000. So it doesn't make sense. So there's still those issues. We're going to see land prices escalate as demand continues to put pressure on the market. But again, it may be years before we can get the outer rim markets to actually start going again. A lot of the lots that have been sold in the outer fringe markets have sold for $30,000, $40,000. You can't even build the lot for that, let alone pay the mitigation, hook up water, sewer. So we don't know when those are going to kickstart again.
Well, it sounds interesting and kind of on the cusp of, you know, another appreciating market in certain areas.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And the other interesting thing is if you look at the overall market, right now about 25% of all homes out there are advertised on a short sale basis. And those houses, in my opinion, aren't really part of the overall supply. Most real estate agents won't show them. Most buyers won't tie them up because there's 60, 90, 120 days just to find out that you didn't get it. Or did, but you just don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it can take forever and there's no guarantee. And then people get afraid, I suppose, of not getting a home they need to move into.
Exactly.
Because life keeps happening.
You know, as Duran mentioned, too, in the previous segment, we're seeing the multiple offer situations. A lot of the things now depend on your credit availability, make sure that your credit approved, make sure that you're ready to close, because those are the determining factors when we're looking at 3 or 4 different deals and deciding which one we want to go ahead and take.
Yeah, well, that means a lot. And in fact, we're going to talk more about getting pre-approved, what that means, because with supply down and a little bit of a frenzy going after, especially as Duran said, all the houses that aren't crappy.
Yeah, exactly.
That, you know, or new construction, which, you know, is new and people is certainly not crappy.
Yeah.
Then that puts people in a position where they need to be able to close because the sellers are looking at what different offers are out there, exactly like you said. Clint, thanks so much for joining us again. That's Clint Schlotfeldt. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what it takes to get pre-approved and plan for that smooth and uneventful transaction. We'll be right back after this break. And again, if you want to reach out, 888-298-5569. You can ask your questions on the air at the end of the hour.